Hi, good morning, everyone, or good evening for some of you joining on the East Coast of America and East and West Coast of Canada as well. My name is Robert Chadwick, one of the co-founders of American Mortgages and Global Mortgage Group. Thank you for joining. It looks like we've got quite a few people from around the world, so thanks for your time. This is gonna be a new program. We're going to do a monthly fireside chat. And basically what it's going to be a little bit different than our normal webinars, where we're just going to be discussing what we think of the trends and some new programs that we may be offering through a new launch that we're coming up with, which will be called the LAUNCHPAD. The LAUNCHPAD will be a series of loan programs or announcements or things along that manner that will bring you up to date with either what we're doing or the recent events in the market. So in this webinar, I'm just going to introduce you to American Mortgages again if you haven't, if you're not familiar with it. And we're going to talk about our growing team, some of the stats that we have in various markets where we're seeing trends. And we're going to discuss a general overview of the standard mortgage loan programs, as well as the new loan programs and what we're looking to do. So with that, I shall start. So if you're not familiar with American Mortgages, our only focus as a company is to provide foreign national and expat mortgages for U.S. investors. What that means is we do not deal with any clients that are currently living in the U.S. All of our clients are living somewhere abroad. I mean, whether it is Canada, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Sao Paulo, Paris, wherever it is in the world, we want to be, or our goal is to be, the one source that you come to when you're looking for mortgage financing. As if you're aware with our loan programs, you'll know that if you compare them to what would be a standard bank mortgage, whether it's in your home country and the possibility that maybe they do have U.S. mortgage financing, or to call or inquire at a local bank or an international bank. Our loan programs are straightforward, very streamlined for your type of borrower, because all of our clients are the same types of borrowers as yourself. What makes us even more unique is all of our loan officers are in the same position that you're in. They're living somewhere abroad outside of their home country as well. They're extremely experienced in U.S. mortgages, but they understand what it is to earn income abroad, and all the difficulties you have as a foreign investor or a U.S. citizen living abroad. So we are, as a team, we are growing, whether it is in the U.S. with our underwriting and our lending, or internationally with everything from our support to our sales to whatever it may be, in order to get these loans out the door and process as simple and as easy as possible. One of the things that are one of the, I guess, the benefits that we are looking at doing and adding as we grow are our partnerships with experienced professionals and experts that will assist you with the questions that you have as an international real estate investor. Experts in taxes, experts in trusts, insurance, all these things that as an investor you're concerned about. How do you manage a property from from another country, who's the right partners, all of these things we're trying to solve and help you with your process and your journey of building a portfolio in the US. So I'd like to go over the stats that we had last month. I think it's quite interesting because we are seeing more and more traction for Canadian investors than we've ever seen before. And I mean, that's due to a lot of factors, and our research team is constantly trying to, understand why certain countries or certain people are investing in the US and other countries are maybe investing in the UK or Australia. I think for Canada, obviously, it's a neighboring country, the laws, the understanding, the language, and et cetera, very similar to the US. But like most countries, it's expensive currently to invest in Canada. And if you're going to invest in the major cities, prices have skyrocketed. We see the same thing across many markets. We see investors from London, we see investors from Hong Kong, we see investors from Sao Paulo. All of these cities have become actually increasingly difficult to make a positive yield. As we see in the US, whether you're buying in Texas, you're buying in Florida, there's a constant demand. And yields are still strong, even with the appreciating market. So in Canada last month in July, for an overall picture of our transactions, last month in July, we saw 17% of our volume was Canadian purchase or refinancing of existing mortgages, whether it be cash out or just trying to reduce the rate. 14% came from the UK, 12% from Australia. We had about 7% from Europe, and then it just kind of trickles down, through Asia and South America. But what we found actually quite interesting is, I would say our biggest investor markets over the last, since we've started this journey, has really been Florida, Texas, and California. Last month, we actually saw a real trend into New York, which was probably a lot larger mortgages. Last month we had 2 mortgages north of $10 million. But in general, I would say anywhere in the range of 500,000 in upstate New York to several million in Manhattan. So that, I mean, for us, that was quite interesting because I think the majority of investors tend to really look more for yield than really for trophy assets. But last month in July, we saw a lot of people buying more on the high end side. Other markets that we saw a lot of interest in was Seattle, Los Angeles, Houston, of course, which is always a very hot market with great yields, Phoenix, Dallas, Las Vegas, and Miami. So in all of those states, we saw multiple transactions. So one of the new besides this fireside chat, something we wanted to announce and do on a regular basis is our LAUNCHPAD program. Our LAUNCHPAD program is going to encompass a few things. One, we're going to try to bring in experts, as I discussed in the beginning. These experts will be, again, everything from taxes to trust to property management to insights from real estate agents and some hot markets. So you'll be seeing announcements if you're following us on our social media or on our newsletters on a regular basis, announcing who we're going to be featuring and what their specialty is. So I think you'll enjoy that. We will also be launching new loan programs. So as you know, as a company, our only focus again is foreign nationals and expats. That's it. We don't deal with anybody in the US, and we have a team that all their focus is finding new loan programs that fit these markets. So we actually have a pretty exciting loan program, which I'll discuss at the end of this, which has been requested by hundreds of clients, but because it's not a common program for foreign nationals or expats, or actually anybody living outside of really the market that they're technically buying in. It's super unique, and I think we are certainly one of the few, if not the only people that are offering this to real estate investors globally. But just to kind of bring everybody up to date about our standard vanilla, everyday US investment loan programs. For foreign nationals, we can get up to 75% loan to value in all 50 states. Qualifying, very, very straightforward. You do not need US credit. You don't even need a US footprint. You can use your credit from your home country. If for some reason you live in a country that doesn't have that, then we have alternative ways to do it. We even have some programs that don't require any credit at all. So it's a very easy program to qualify for. But yeah, if for some reason as a foreign national, you can't verify your income, or you're self-employed and maybe your taxes aren't showing your true ability to pay the mortgage or to service the debt, we have loan programs that strictly go off of what the rental income property would generate or is currently generating if it's a refinance. Meaning that when it comes to providing income documentation, the only thing that we're going to need to do is to see where your funds came from on a purchase. And that's a standard AML policy that anything needs to be seasoned for a minimum of 60 days. But it doesn't need to be in the US. It can be anywhere in the world. So if you have a bank account in Europe or a bank account in Canada, Asia, wherever it may be, you do not have to move it to the US until 3 days prior to the closing of the loan transaction, which is super simple and super easy. No requirement to move it into a US bank account. You can move it directly into escrow. For US citizens, we are still by far absolutely the best that you can find outside of the market. So all of the issues, and I'll tell you, on a daily basis, we get calls from US expats that are halfway or even at the very end of the loan process, and the lender or the bank comes back and says, oh, wait a minute, you earn your income in another country. I'm sorry, we can't help you. We don't have that issue. Every lender, every bank, every investor that we deal with are very, very specific. They understand that when a loan originates from us, the situation where they know the borrower is living overseas, the borrower's income is generated in a foreign currency, the bank statements, etc. The only probably inconvenience or thing that would be very different than if you walked into a local bank would be that anything that is not in English would need to be translated into English. But providing bank statements from a foreign country, absolutely fine. Not having a W-2 because you're working for a company, absolutely fine. So all these issues that you would have, you're not going to have with us. And it's a lot of that. People ask, why we're able to do this when others are not. And it really just comes down to experience and knowledge of the market. When you go perhaps to a broker or a bank in the US, for every, and this is just an estimate, but for every 100 to 1,000 people that they do a transaction for, one or two might be a foreign national or an expat. With American Mortgages, 100% of our clients are this type of borrower. So again, just to reassure you, this is all we do, and we are very, very good at it. I'll introduce a new loan program that we will have available on our site, and we'll send out a notice to all of our followers and social media. This is what's called a fix and flip. So this is obviously popular on TV. You see these shows where people are buying properties that are in less than livable condition, or maybe they are in livable condition, but the investor has this vision of putting another unit on it, or another bedroom, or something that would increase its yield. In the past, these programs were strictly for US citizens, and mainly because most of these people that were doing fix and flips were buying a house that was down the street or in the next town or whatever it may be. And it was very difficult for a foreign national or an expat to be able to do these, just because of the proximity, right? However, this is not the case any longer. We are able to provide these fix and flip loans. And how it works is, instead of going off of the standard loan to value, just as an example, if a house is worth, just simple math, if a house is worth $100,000, we would lend 75% or $75,000 based on the appraised value, right? And that was it. There really wasn't a lot of flexibility in that. You could certainly go lower, but the ability to go higher wasn't possible. On these fix and flip loans, we're able to go off of what would be considered the after renovated value. So in essence, your loan to value on a property such as this, even as a foreign national and expat, can be up to 80, 90% of the actual loan to value, right? So our loan will be based on what the projected finished value will be. So it's a super aggressive program. There are definitely some restrictions. I mean, we would like to see that you do have some sort of investor footprint in the US. Doesn't technically have to be fix and flips, but that you do have the knowledge and the understanding of being a landlord in the US. But there are the other limitations are very, very straightforward and easy to qualify for. There are minimum loan amounts, which we are still finalizing. But again, this will be in all 50 states. We will, one of the requirements is to have experienced partners. But this is one of the reasons why we're launching, or we're introducing our new format, the LAUNCHPAD, which will introduce you to specialists and experts and so forth. And one of them, going forward, we're still working with a couple options, will be an expert in fix and flip, so you can understand the process, what's required, the other types of partners that you'll need in order to make it successful. So if anybody has any questions on that, or would like to have more details, you can always email me directly. So I think that is pretty much just covers everything that we wanted to discuss today. Just a very short little chat, just to let you know what we're doing, what we're up to, and the launch of the new loan program. So I will open this up. There's quite a few people online, so I'll open this up to some questions and answers. And whatever you have on your mind, please feel free to put it in the chat box. If for some reason we don't get to it, or we're not 100% sure of the answer, we will email you later. If you have any questions that you think of after, feel free to email me directly. My email is robert.chadwick@americamortgages.com. So let's get to the Q&A. I don't have U.S. credit. Does America Mortgages accept international credit reports? Excellent question. Yes, we do. And, I think that's one of the biggest concern when foreign investors are thinking about entering the U.S. Real estate market. A lot of people believe that U.S. credit is required. And certainly, if you were to go to most banks, it is required. Without U.S. credit, there's really not a lot of flexibility. With our loan programs, we can take your credit report from your home country. And if you're not sure where to get it from, we have a link of pretty much every country that has a credit report and where to get it from. If you're from, say, certain countries in the Middle East, there's a few countries around South America that actually don't have credit reporting agencies. We have alternative credit programs where we don't actually need a credit report, but we can assist you with finding different ways to verify your credit worthiness. Another question. I am an entrepreneur with irregular income. Is America Mortgage able to help with getting my mortgage? Absolutely. It's very interesting because I would say more than 50% of our clients are in very similar situations. They're entrepreneurs. And that's probably one of the reasons why they are looking outside of their home market. They're people that can understand taking a risk, but a calculated and logical risk, right? Will invest in many things. We have loan programs that won't request your tax returns. We're not going to ask for your pay stubs. It's actually a very simple program. Because we're doing loans, somebody from Toronto is providing the same thing as somebody from Singapore, for example. We request, if you're employed, it's going to be a letter from your employer. If you're self-employed, it's from your accountant. And it just needs to state your last 2 years' income and your current year to date. It's super simple, very easy to obtain. But if for some reason you're not able to get that, or as the question states, maybe as a self-employed person you're not showing your true ability to service debt, then we have loan programs that go only off of what the rental income of the property is. So it's a really nice program, and as long as the rental income covers what the mortgage payment is, it's a wash, and you can qualify on the servicing portion of it. What is your approval rate for foreign national loans? I've had many bad experiences. Again, I think it goes back to what I discussed before. Because this is all that we do. This is 100% of our business is foreign investors, whether it's a U.S. citizen or a foreign national. Our approval rate is 97%. And I think that actually may even be a little bit low. Because, again, our programs are very specific. If we approve your loan, you're almost guaranteed to close. The only issues that you may have, and this would be with any bank or any mortgage lender would be if there were issues with the property. But for the individual as the borrower, we certainly, our approval rate is exceptional. And what also makes us unique, we can close a loan in a personal name. So if you want to buy it as John Smith, absolutely fine. Or you can buy it in an entity. So if you want to buy it as XYZ LLC, absolutely fine as well. So we have a lot more flexibility. What are the fees that you guys charge? Again, very good question. We are very standard to, we mirror what happens in the US. Depends on the loan size, but on average, we charge 2% of the loan amount. And that is paid at closing. It is 100%, excuse me. It is 100% a success fee. We do not have an application fee. There are no costs up front in order to obtain a loan. If we don't perform, we don't get paid. So very, very straightforward, very standard. But what makes us unique is, obviously closing costs can be expensive just in general, right? There's a lot of things that are beyond our control. However, our fees or our portion of the closing costs can actually be factored into the loan. So although as a foreign national, your maximum loan to value is 75%, and as a US citizen, it's 80%, you can, if the fee, say, based on the loan amount is 2%, you could actually get 77% loan to value as a foreign national and 82% as a US citizen, as the fees can actually be added into the loan. So it's not any extra cash out of pocket. Let me see, what else do we have here? Okay, I think that, oh, okay, yes. Question is, do you offer loans that are not limited to the amount of properties that you own? I think you're actually referring to portfolio loans. So if that's the case, for sure. So portfolio loans are one of our strengths. You have to own at least 5 properties. They don't have to be in the same state. They don't have to be in the same city. They can be scattered throughout the US. And there has to be a minimum cumulative value of all those properties of at least $500,000. That can be for a refinance or a purchase. One of the things that I think portfolio makes it attractive is the ability to pay one mortgage for multiple properties. So I just give you an example, and I think I've discussed this before. We have had clients that have owned, north of 400 properties, in an LLC, but basically as an individual, and it's a full-time job, right? You're writing checks each month to 400 different investors or lenders. Putting it under one umbrella just makes life so much more simple. But if you do wish to purchase properties individually and you do not want to put it under a portfolio, one thing that we can offer, which is, I think it's exceptional, and it's often asked, especially for real estate investors, we don't have any limitations on the amount of properties that you own or can finance individually. Meaning most lenders and most banks and most loan programs, especially if you talk about foreign investors, will be limited to 10. We don't have that restriction. You want to buy 20 properties, completely fine with us. Let me see, what else do we have? Okay, I think that looks like all the questions for today. I want to thank again everybody for your support. for following us on social media, for commenting on our videos, etc. We're here to make a better, more transparent and easier loan process for our clients. So any feedback that you may have, suggestions, etc., we are more than welcome. And my email address will be listed at the end of the video, and likely if you want a recording of it, you can just contact our office. So on behalf of everybody in American Mortgages, thank you very much, and we shall see you next time. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.